Joining me in studio for a discussion on the clip you just watched is Joseph Aryeetey, the Secretary of the Coalition of Aggrieved Fund Management Customers. Also joining me is the Chairman of the Coalition of Men's Gold Customers, Isaac Nyaku. Thanks so much for joining me this afternoon, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Joseph. You fall within the fund management sector.
Exactly.
And I want to find out, first of all, before you react to what Mr. Mahama said,
sure, whether
you have received anything so far or any assurance has been given to you with the payment of your locked up funds.
Okay, I must say that since 2018 that we got ourselves into this difficulty, nothing has been assured us by government or the finance minister. So far, they've just ignored us. That's the way I can put it. And I'm saying they've ignored us because we've had several opportunities to present letters to them to try to engage them on our issue. And it will surprise you to know that since 2018 that we started this battle, government has just turned a deaf ear to our issue. No response whatsoever. Even if you could remember last year around November, we had a mammoth demonstration from Obra Sports to the Flagstaff House. And we presented a petition directly to the president. And unfortunately, as I speak to you, not even an acknowledgement was made to us as a group. So you could see government has deliberately decided to ignore us because I realize they don't care about what we go through as citizens. Even though we rightfully invested our money in a regulated institution which is under the Securities and Exchange Commission. So even if there is a situation, our expectation is that government, at least after 2 years onwards, should have engaged with the customers on the way forward. As I speak to you now, a lot of our members are even dead and gone. And
we'll come to the impact. So obviously you've been rejected or neglected, as you put in your own words.
Exactly
so. Assurance or promise coming from former President John Dramani Mahama and flag bearer of the NDC, how are you receiving this? It's a promise. We've heard this before. But how do you receive this new promise from the flag bearer of the NDC?
We are very glad that at least he being in opposition have considered our plight. I must be frank with you, since we started petitioning, we've never had the opportunity to petition former President Mahama. But I think, judging from afar, he feels as a former president that this is a very important matter that he needed to at least attempt to solve. And we take his words. I mean, he's been in power before. What I want to say on this platform, I want to use your platform, that at least former President Mahama and his team should make efforts to engage us. And after this, we are planning as a group to engage their team. We really want to understand and have some clarity on what the promise is about.
Okay, Isaac, let me bring you. Your situation is quite, I speak for aggrieved customers of Men's Gold, and your situation is quite controversial because the current government has been very clear on what they want to do with you. They are saying that your sector or your investment was not regulated, and so they are not going to intervene. But, I mean, what the former president said yesterday has to do with setting up the establishment of a financial services authority to deal with financial market issues. This doesn't sound to me like a promise that is directly addressing whether Men's Gold customers will benefit. Am I right?
We, as Men's Gold customers, we believe that so far as SEC came in to issue a directive for Men's Gold to shut down, that means SEC realized Men's Gold was operating a financial product, which they made it clear in their letter that part of Men's Gold operations falls under their regulations. And the Constitution, their mandate, the SEC Act 929, it mandates them to retrieve individuals, to retrieve monies that were meant for investments which are under regulation.
But your sector, like you said, over time, is not regulated. So.
No, for SEC to have come in, that means SEC realized that Men's Gold was operating.
SEC was just intervening because they saw that there was some sort of Ponzi scheme going on.
But then they have the mandate to also ensure that the monies collected from the customers are returned back to them as per the Act mandates them to do, which they've not done anything about. And I believe former President Mahama coming up to say all customers of financial institutions, he might be looking at Men's Gold in a direction where SEC has failed in its mandate to ensure that our monies are refunded to us in that direction. And based on this angle, we also want to engage the former president to come out clear on its directive to the payment of the financial sector.
What will you want to hear differently from what he said yesterday? Because what he said was not direct as to whether Men's Gold customer, when he gets into power, will get their monies. He spoke about the establishment of the Financial Services Authority to deal with financial market issues, because we saw over time the proliferation of a lot of unauthorized financial institutions operating in the country. So I kind of get the sense that it is just an authority to deal with all the mess that was being created in the system. Do you see that as a promise that Men's Gold customers would directly benefit from the payments plan that he wants to?
We believe we've met some of the NDC members, which they've assured us, for which Sami Jemfi has been out telling people that they will pay Men's Gold customers. And once is the director of communication for NDC coming up to say that NDC will pay Men's Gold customers. We are very sure that for Mahama to say that he will be paying financial institution, we expect him to include Men's Gold.
Okay.
For which reason we seeking that the next time John Mahama mounts a platform to talk publicly, he should be specific with the Men's Gold issue, that Men's Gold and the other financial institutions.
Okay.
That's what we're seeking.
All right, Joseph, you spoke about, lack of response to your petitions and your protests and everything. The last mid-year budget review, for instance, the finance minister said nothing about it again. What do you suspect is the reason for the silence from government on your payment issue?
You know, I want to make a very important revelation on this your platform. Okay, somewhere March 2018, as at March 2018, it will interest you to know that data bank that belonged to Kendo Foriata and Reverend Ogbami Tete also had investment with Gold Coast Fund Management, and you can check it. You can check either with Gold Coast Fund Management or the authorities that were in charge of that unit. Okay, my point is that we got into this crisis as customers somewhere June 2018, and that was when Reverend Ogbami Tete and the Securities and Exchange Commission gave a directive to the fund management companies to stop giving guaranteed returns. And just before Reverend Ogbami Tete and Kendo Foriata nursed that idea, they went in to withdraw their investment.
Well, we can't verify these claims.
That is why I'm saying that, you see, you are a media house. I am making a very important revelation, and I'm expecting your media house to verify this information.
We will try and verify. Yes. I think I've personally asked this question before.
So, you know, so our point is that we did not do any investment that was illegal, like they would think they want to categorize us. Because at the end of the day, even Data Bank as an institution had investment with Gold Coast Fund Management. What we want to say on this platform is that we believe that the government and the finance ministry just decided to discriminate against those of us within the fund management sector. And they may have their reasons for doing that. And why am I saying that?
What do you suspect is the reason?
Why am I saying that? If our colleagues within the banking sector and the microfinance and the savings and loan sector, you committed yourself to give them the full amount of their investment, because the fixed deposit investment, which those of us in the fund management sector went to do, we had our colleagues who were in the banking sector and some of our colleagues who were in the microfinance sector who also went into the same fixed deposit investment. Okay, so if our colleagues in this sector also went into the fund management fixed deposit investment, and you were able to commit a full payment package for them, why not those of us in the fund management sector?
Okay, Isaac, I mean, I don't want to go into the politics of this, but this is becoming a political issue. Yeah. What will you want to hear? I mean, how is former President Mohammed's pronouncement yesterday and the way the current government is dealing with the issue, how is that going to shape your thoughts or your ideas or your position heading towards the next elections, which is just in December?
Yeah, I think we have informed our members that they should ensure that they get their voters card ready, and that we're giving this government up to the end of October. If we don't see any change in their approach of handling our issues, especially the way they've dropped the 61 charges against NAM1, and then till now they've not been able to prefer any other charges against him, and they are asking for up till September. If nothing changes in their approach, I think we are asking all our members to go all out and support the NDC.
All right, the last time you heard they appointed the pay boy to pay payments, have you received anything? Have you started receiving anything?
No, which we believe that was a deceit to the public. That is why we made noise, and then Iyoko moved in to close down Payboy. He was using that as another way of duping the people. How could you say people should come and pay 9 to 25% of their monies that are with you before you start repay some installment plan with them? It doesn't work that way.
All right. Before I wrap up with you two, same question to you, not to go into the politics of it, but again, it's becoming a political issue. How is this new pronouncement from the former president, John Dramani Mahama, and the way you said that the current administration has neglected you, how is that going to form your opinions or your decisions heading to the next elections?
The news for us customers is very refreshing, okay? But I must say that we still believe that there is a certain room for some amount of engagement with the former president and his team, because we will need to have some clarity on what exactly the promise actually constitutes, okay? But I want to make this last point, okay? You know, when I wanted to re-emphasize on the point that Ken Ofori-Atta and Data Bank had an investment, you didn't want me to go there, okay?
No, because we can't verify it, so I don't want us to make wild allegations here that we cannot, you know, support with any sort of evidence.
But you know, as we talk now, the reason why what former president said yesterday meant a lot to us is that some of our members, as we talk, are dead, some are in the ICU, some are in very critical conditions, who, if they even get a quarter of their money, could save their lives. So we are talking about life and a death situation over here, okay? And I don't believe that the treatment that Ken Ofori-Atta and the MPP government is taking we through customers. Because if you regulated a firm, you licensed a firm, and as customers, it was based on your license that we went out there to go and invest, okay? And there is a regulatory failure, okay? Because anytime you hear Ken Ofori-Atta or the deputies making statements in the public, they want to tell the whole world that every investment that you go out there to do comes with a risk. But my sister Sandra, I want to tell you that our investment never faced a risk. It was a regulatory failure.
Okay,
and I did not regulate, we customers don't regulate GOCOs. So if the government is responsible for regulating this institution and there is a regulatory failure, they should be ready to take full responsibility.
Okay, let me just ask you, just for clarity's sake, you heard the governor of the central bank saying earlier that some financial institutions are in court to contest the revocation of their licenses, hence the delays in the payment. That has to do with microfinance institutions, if I'm right. I want to know if any of the fund management institutions is also in court to contest any of.
Currently, we don't know of any. Okay, majority of our membership is made up of Gold Coast fund management customers, aside the other fund management institutions. Okay, but the bottom line still remains that what we are being faced now, our investment has not faced any risks. Like Ken Oforiatta want the whole world to believe.
All right, gentlemen.
Okay? Because if we made an investment and there is a regulatory failure, the regulator should take responsibility.
All right, I think you want to say something. Just 30 seconds. We have run out of time. We need to move on.
What I want to say is we're pleading with John Mahama to come clear.
Okay.
His promise.
I think you've made that point already. All right.
And that we.
Okay, gentlemen, you've made that point.
Made clear, we'll go all out to support.
All right. Thank you so much, Joseph Aryeetey of the Coalition of Aggrieved Fund Management Customers, and also Isaac, also from the Coalition of Men's Gold Customers. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.